So this week there's a lot of gaming stuff going on this week, right? And I am back in a full capacity, excited to be doing these live streams, and I figured what better way to come back than to talk about something that is, well, needing to be talked about. Talking about, of course, how obviously close Final Fantasy VII Part 3 is to being released. Why do you say that, Ray? Well, if you look at, they got the release that's coming up on Xbox and I think it's Switch too and all that other kind of stuff for Rebirth, but they have introduced streamlined progression available June 3rd, which is Wednesday, as I'm recording this. What does that mean? Well, if you're going to introduce streamlined progression, for my take, it's because you want people to go back through the game quickly to get the story tidbits. Have fun playing it, but reintroduce yourself to the story so that Square Enix's marketing team doesn't have to do the heavy lifting of making all these trailers to remind you of what this was and everything. Because chatter about the game hasn't been as crazy as it was between 1 and 2, right? Because there was the whole mystery of what's going on. They kept us talking, and I've spoken in many videos in the past how that was brilliant marketing on their part, to keep people talking, to keep the game and the story fresh in people's minds as they work on the second game and get that out. Well, chatter hasn't been as high volume as it was between 1 and 2, from 2 to 3, and so introducing streamlined progression is a great way to get people to go into the game and play it again and refamiliarize yourself with the story beats, all the while getting prepared for what they're going to introduce you to in the third game. So when Square Enix puts out this trailer they're working on, or likely the trailer that's already done, it's going to introduce you to concepts and things like that that'll be new to the progression of the through line of the third game, without having to do like a full deep dive refresher course on what happened in the second game. You'll already know because you've went through and played it again. So I think that's pretty brilliant on their part. Streamline progression, play through it again, get the story beats so that here shortly, very shortly, when they start talking about the third game, showing trailers and stuff like that, they won't have to reintroduce you to these concepts because they will be fresh in your mind again because you just went through and played through it again. And not only played through it, but blew through it, because they basically set you up with God mode in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which I think is a cool idea. I think it's a great idea. It's a great way to get people on the PlayStation 5 and people that have already played it to go through and just play it again. Just breeze through it. So I think that's pretty cool. Another thing, I still think that this game could release sooner than we think. How soon? I don't know. Holiday season at the best, but I'm still sticking with February to April 2027, which has always been my original guess, because that seems to be about the time of the year they want to release these games. February to April 2027, I think, is still the sweet spot. But would it surprise me if it came before that? Absolutely not. I wouldn't be surprised in the least, because I think this game is closer to finish than people think. I think this was a more streamlined process, no pun intended, or completely intended, however you want to look at that. I think this was a much more streamlined process than it was going from 1 to 2, and the nightmare and the headache of developing Part 1. So I think developing for Part 3 actually started around development for Part 2, because that world map is already done. All the big major assets are done. You just have to develop Wutai and some of the other places that weren't available to you. And by the way, can we talk about the ocean? Just the ocean dynamic effects and everything, and just traveling around in the tiny Bronco. That was amazing. I loved that. Like, I want to load up a playthrough of Rebirth just to go through and explore everything on the ocean. Like, I didn't really do that in depth the first time around as I was just getting the story elements, but I would love to go back and do that. That would be amazing. Anyway, I think so. To wrap it up, I think that, the game is closer than some people think. Some people are still saying 2028. I think you're just like looking at this very negatively. And I think 2028 is out of the question. I think it's going to be February to April 2027. I think we're getting ready to start seeing it. We got a lot of streams going this week. We got State of Play tomorrow night, which I'll be getting started around 4:30 Eastern Time. right here on the channel. We'll be talking a little bit. We'll be talking a little bit after, and then the big one on Friday, Summer Games Fest. We'll be getting started a half hour before the show. We'll be talking about after the show. It'll be a big stream. Come hang out, have a good time. It's going to be like we used to do. So anyway, I'll be getting a streaming schedule up tomorrow for all my stuff. Got content coming, a few pieces of content coming this week. I'm not going to commit to a piece of content every single day because that is a lot of work on top of my animation and marketing duties that I have now. But like I do intend to be here at the desk doing a lot more content than I have been over the past, well, 6 months or so. But getting back to it and getting back in the game. So anyway, y'all have a great day. Be safe, be good to each other, keep rocking, and I will see you all in the next video. You all take care.